Hang in there, Teefab. I'm coming. I'm almost there. I was on my site, which is no good. There. All right. I think I got it. I'm just waiting for Teefab. Strickle Nation, we're going to get started in a minute. I'm just waiting for Teefab to come in. This has taken me a couple times. The first one I was on my own site, which is no good. So now that I got this up, just bear with me, and we're going to invite her in. Can you help me invite her in? Ryan Bellwood, what's going on? It's not coming up though. What's going on, Bellwood? How you been, man? I see you on there. I see people coming on. That's my second time. I hope I did this right. Our guest tonight is someone really special who we all know. For some reason, I can't get her in. It's spinning. We invited it. It's not showing up there. Oh, she joined. She waved. Gary Teeter. What's up, my buddy Gary Teeter? We got some great people in. I just got to get the guest of honor. For some reason, it keeps saying she's unable to join. Let's try it one more time. It's definitely on my end, not on hers, because she is good with Instagram. I did it. I did it. T-Fab, what's up?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm sorry for a little the delay there. This is Joe Freeney has given me a lot of leeway with this to post and go on my own here. So it's been quite an experience. I'm getting a lot better at it. We got a great show. We got the Queen with us. You're finally here.
I
T-Fab, let me get this show started. I just want to go through the awards again. I've been doing that the last couple of nights, and then so much that I want to talk about with you, because in all of my time watching you compete and knowing you, this is the sickest I've ever seen you. To the point where literally like confusion, like
yeah,
guys like John Cooper and Nikki are like, is she all right? Should we
right.
say something? I almost feel like I was putting you at risk. But real quick, let me rip through these. We're starting with excuse me, the Gopher, the top 5 Wilks, which
Yeah,
T-Fab, in all the 4 years we've done the Arnold, you are, and my research is not 100%, but I believe you are the only female to be in the top 5 every single year, right?
that's correct.
So
Yes.
that's really special. I know this wasn't your lane this
No.
year, but you did take third in it anyways. We went Gopher top 5 Wilks. We went Kiana in 5th. We went Camille in 4th. We went T-Fab in 3rd. We went Brittany on in 2nd, and Ashley Christensen in 1st.
Yes.
In the combo Wilks, we went Mackenzie, very special lifter. We went Mackenzie as the runner-up to you, and you as the champion in the combo event. You
Yes.
also had the heaviest female curl in the OBZ.
Mm-hmm.
So you did really good on the podium. You got out of a lane that you're not used to. Coach Russo has talked several times about that OBZ bar and what it does to athletes and how difficult it is. We'll get into
Yes.
that part. You still came out and had a great day. knowing you and the experience of watching you in weigh-ins, right?
Right.
Not only were you sick, but and I do not mean this with any disrespect. You were hurting. You were out of it. You know what I
I
mean?
was
Like
definitely out of it. But like I said in my live, I knew that it was going to be a big day for the ladies. I had to be a part of it. I had to be there to cheer on those ladies. I think it was just good camaraderie. I always preach sportsmanship, and even when it's not my day, for whatever reason it might be, people get sick, people have issues, you still show up, you give it 100, and you support the other athletes. And so it was very important. If I had my way, I would not have been there, of course. I was really struggling. But I wanted to lead by example and just be there to support the other ladies and just show them how much I really love strict curl, whether it's my day or their day. I'm just happy to see the sport progress.
that is very classy of you. Something that I'm going to share because I have been there. There's been several football games that I've played in my college and a little bit of my pro days with the arena where I had to get an IV at halftime. And
Mm,
people think like all of a sudden you get an IV and you're functioning. And something for
no,
the first time ever in curl, and I know people don't know this, and I do have to share this with them because it is something that it brought me back to my days as a player, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, we're going to a different level. You, after weigh-ins, had to go get an IV.
I I made an appointment when I decided to go 24 hours out. I made an appointment for IV because I knew, first of all, I was dehydrated. I wasn't able to get my meals in. I didn't really want to cut hard. I just needed a little bit of boost because, to be honest, I'm one of those people that rarely get sick. So I didn't know what that looked like, what it felt like. So I just wanted every bit of help that I could get. I think the last little thing I asked Coop to pray for me right before I went on because I definitely just needed all the help that I could get. But yes, I made an appointment for IV right after I weighed in.
This is how sick you were. I was trying to explain the rules to you, and it took like four of us and a half hour. And I'm laughing just because now you look back on it, right? Whatever,
Yeah.
but you couldn't even process.
No, and
You
I
were
trained
you were you
for
were
the event. I mean, we talked about developing the event together, and I trained for the event. But I just was that out of it where I was like anxious, nervous, ill, all of the things where I was like, I've never had to put myself in this position. And then it's a lot of pressure when you're on top. I mean, let's be real. When you show up, people expect you to win. So that was also on my mind. Like, okay, I'm not at my best. This is the biggest, stage. How am I going to do? How am I going to look? What's going to happen? Am I going to pass out up here? So it was a combination of just a lot of things. It just definitely was not in the bingo cards for me, but it was not an area that I'm used to functioning in. I'm usually health. I haven't gotten sick since like 2020, to be honest with you.
Sometimes I'll tell my athletes when they're injured, this and that, and they go out and perform, and it's enough to win, but it's not their best. I'll often say to them, that's the most competitive you can ever
Yeah.
get because it would have been so easy for you to pick up the phone and say, guys, I just can't do it. I'm not the TFAB that I am right now. I don't have that same energy, but instead you showed up. And that is something not only that I have a lot of respect for. People aren't stupid. Other people knew how sick you were. It was almost like, okay, she's wounded. Let's go after her.
Right.
And it still wasn't enough.
I
It
didn't
still
mind at
wasn't
all.
enough. And that was the part that was really cool to me. I had a chance to talk to some of my women in my gym when I got back. And I said, a lot of times with some of these elite athletes, they have a certain mentality, and people mistake that for being arrogant or cocky or whatnot. Number one, that's the farthest thing from it, but I don't know how you win without that confidence, without that
100%.
swagger. I don't know how any athlete stays on top. This is your moment. but I will say you run parallel to John Cooper, where more people want you to fail
Yeah.
than they want you to win. And that becomes a very lonely place. Then
Yeah.
you add in there that you're sick, right? And I did a show about a week before, and as long as I've been doing this, T, there's someone that always gets injured. There's someone that always gets sick. There's someone that always fails a drug test. It always happens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never do I think it will be the top curlers, because I always feel that they just have this aura around them where no matter what, their body's going to stay true and hang in there until the event's over, and then they're going to crash. But I remember talking to you on the phone briefly, um, and then I remember you talking to Joe, and Joe hanging up and being like, "Man, I don't know if she's gonna go." And then even some of the rumors started, T-Fab. Like, I had women coming up to me and being like, "Oh, it's a shame she's not gonna be here," and I'm like, "Who?" And they're like, "Oh, T-Fab," and I'm like, "You think T-Fab's not gonna show up?" I'm like, are you serious? That girl could be on her deathbed. She is going to show up. Number
100%.
one, you have a different relationship with CT Fletcher
Yeah.
than other athletes.
Yeah.
You are not in that starstruck moment with him because you guys are family.
Yeah.
You guys are literally family. So I knew that, okay, CT's going to be here. Even if she's under the weather, she's going to come out. She's going to put it on. I know how you can dig deep. And sometimes, as much as we want to dig deep, it's just not there. It's just not there. So I got to talk about something that was there, because I was 6 feet in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a roar out of you. You'll at times bite your mouthpiece and you'll, that this was different, girl. I tried to find the footage tonight, but like, being new to Instagram and like trying to set up like videos for people to watch at the same time, I'm like, Coach Ruth, slow down. But I got to tell you, we are going to find it. We are going to play it. I'm going to
I
have you back on.
I remember.
Do you
My
remember?
mentality was just to get my opener, to be honest with you. Because, so first of all, an exclusive, the only other person that knows this besides my husband is John Cooper. When I did the rep contest in Iron War, so first of all, when we started this block, that wasn't a thing.
Okay.
So I started my training block just training for this event.
Okay.
Dual bar, I was posting every week, consistent. And then when CT told me about the Iron Wars, I definitely knew I had to be there. And I've always wanted to do a rep contest because I feel like I'm the perfect demographic for that. But I just kept it on the low because, you know, Teefab win everything. But I'm middleweight. I'm perfect for a rep contest. So if I come out there and dominate that, get out your feelings. It's coming. But I knew I was going to go out there and do that. So me and John had to kind of redo the block. But after the rep contest, I actually did injure my left forearm.
Okay.
And I remember messaging John and I said, we've been working together for a couple months, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna freestyle the rest of my training because I'm hurt. And he was like, well, just keep me posted on how you feel. And I'm like, my forearm's not firing. It's not firing. And I'm gonna be honest, even up until the Arnold, it wasn't firing. So I also knew that I wasn't gonna beat last year's lift. Like, that was a given. Last year I was 100%. Then when I got sick, I knew even greater that I was not going to beat last year's lift. I was okay with that. So my mentality going in was just to get my openers because I like the event. I feel like it is the perfect way to give homage to CT and to keep OG strict curling alive. I've been trained with dual blocks, dual bars. I curl in strict form, whether I'm on an OBZ or a gopher. So I said, I want to see this combo event take off because this is the way where you keep CT's record alive, right? So it was important for me to go and show up and to win it in front of CT. And so I was like, just get your opener. I did my math. You know, I'm a coach. I did the math. I knew what I weighed. I knew what I needed, which is why you kept saying, you don't want to take it down, T? And I was like, no. Because I already knew in my mind what I needed. And I knew I didn't have enough for 2 good lifts. So that's why I was being stubborn.
Yeah.
My coaching brain was like, no, baby, you got one shot. You better get this or you gonna lose. So that grunt was like, I don't care what you bust open, pull. It was like some CT Fletcher to the depth. Just get it
Oh
up
my
with
God.
all white lights. And once I got it up, I was like, okay, I'm fine. I'm a competitor, so I still went for the other attempts. I didn't expect to get them. I wasn't disappointed. I knew it wasn't going to go, but I was going to fight to the death, and that's how it went down.
Oh, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. That roar, man, it echoed through that expo. And I'm telling you, I remember telling Nikki on the way home, we have to grab that clip because, like if you talk strict curl nation, if you talk hostile environment, big crowds, elite athletes, separating yourself, that roar was just like a microcosm of everything that kind of you represent, what you've been through, how you live your life. It was so cool. It was so cool, man. It went like right through my body, man. And
I appreciate that. I remember your eyes when I did that. I was like, your eyes was like, is she okay? I wasn't. I was very. But somehow, like I said, I got it up and I was satisfied with my performance given the situation. And that's really all I wanted. After that, and I'd even told the crew, I was like, I'm not going to be able to cheer for y'all. I don't have anything in me. But I'm just that passionate and love it so much that I still cheered for everybody. I didn't have a voice for 3 days like normal. But I just was so excited just to see everyone progress. Like, we have to progress together. It's not just about me. It's not just about Coop or the OGs or the veterans in the sport, because we are supposed to spark the next fire. So I was happy to see those ladies get up there and just do their thing. And I actually, no shade, ladies, but I actually felt like their confidence went up a little bit when they knew I was sick. So I was like, now y'all are like in it. Like y'all are not walking around intimidated or scared. I feel like now y'all are more confident because you see I got a little wound. But they did great, and I was really excited to be there in person to kind of see it.
well, and again, we talk a little bit about that class and the things that you said. I think that was just so cool, especially coming from you. The picture I have in my gym as Ashley's up there, you're in the corner of it,
Yeah.
screaming, yelling, and again, I said to some of my girls, you can't fake that. You can't
No.
fake that passion, that excitement. And then I remember coming to you and saying, and it was perfect that you were right there. You're the person that was supposed to be there. Hey, TFAB, let's get everybody. Please gather the whole crew. Let's get them on stage. And coming from you, that message was well received. And I turned around,
Yeah.
and then there you are, and then there you are again, going nuts and picking Ashley up. And
Because
and
I was
TFAB, it's a perfect.
proud of her. Like if you think some years back, first of all, let me say, Ashley's actually been curling before me.
Oh,
Remember, I met Ashley in Raw. She was doing her thing before I even picked up a bar.
okay.
So let's be clear on that. So I've seen her progression. And I'm going to embarrass her for a minute. Love you, Ashley. But I remember when I saw her, I was like, oh my God, your glutes have grown. You're definitely going to curl more weight. And I embarrassed her a little bit because we're polar opposites. She's so introverted. And when I am in TFAB mode, I'm so extroverted. But if you think about it, from the first Arnold, I remember that was right after Ashley went through her tragic event. And I remember I went to you and said, if I win this belt, I want you to give it to Ashley. Do you remember that?
I do. I do.
That was the first time we were at the Arnold because I was so invested in her. And I had seen her curling since I started. And when all of that went down and then she still made it to the Arnold, I remember just saying, okay, I'm still going to compete because that's what I do. But if I win this belt, I want it to go to Ashley. Like, I have always been rooting for her, cheering for her. And so it was so happy to see her progression. And I don't even remember people coming to me saying, yeah, T-Fab, you're probably going to be the first to do body weight. And I'm like, if you think about science, that's probably going to be Ashley, not me, because of science, you know what I mean? So I've always just been rooting for her and in her corner, and I always knew she can do it. And I'm glad that she was able to get to a point where she could just focus on training and put everything that she feels on the bar. Like, I remember her going through what she went through. And one thing about trauma, people think, well, okay, time has passed. You're okay. Every holiday, every birthday, every Christmas, every whatever, everything resets. So I just really am so proud of her just learning to channel it in the right way and
Yeah.
learning, a lot of young kids would have went through that and just been lost. But she still was able to find her way back to that thing that she loved. And I can't be anything but proud of her for that. I would never hate on her. I want to see her do all of the wonderful things for the angels that are guiding her and watching her on, and for her brothers and sisters in iron that believe in her, that are cheering for her.
Well spoken, very well spoken. Um, Leads to the chemistry. It was different this year. You
Yes,
talked about it.
yes,
Several people talked about it. I'm going to just be upfront with people. When the comments come from the best curlers in the world, I'm not saying it means more. It's just different.
yeah,
When those people are so used to being so locked into that environment and winning, when they can have a little bit of energy be pulled to this chemistry that was created and take part of it and agree with it and be there for it, then you know it's real. It really solidifies this. The chemistry was different this
yeah,
year. You've
yeah,
admitted it. Cooper admitted it. Ashley has admitted it. Antonio Collins, Brian Bell, everybody that we have brought in to talk to so far has there has been a legitimate growth in our sport.
yeah.
The crowd was enormous, and all that energy and electricity is great, but backstage there was something different. Can you share that with us? Can you talk about that a little bit?
I agree. I really think that it's hard to kind of pinpoint what was different other than, I paid more attention to the ladies, of course. I really think the majority of the ladies really just wanted everyone to do great.
Yeah.
And that just felt a little different, even for me. I don't know if it was empathy because I was in there dragging. I don't know. But even for me, like I felt a different energy, and we do have like different lifters that are like stepping up. And maybe it was something with that. I also think that sometimes if you're on the outside looking in and you can kind of see the bonds that people have and the genuine bonds, I think that changes your perception. Sometimes you might have a group that are so competitive that they can't see that we do more together than apart. We progress more if we are together than divided. And I think for some reason that just was there this year. I think that the group that was there, especially the women, really genuinely supported each other. Even the men, I didn't get to see all the men, but like I was in full on coach meet director mode, and I wasn't even in those roles. I mean, I was catching grown men and I was making sure, and people were doing that for me. Like I had to give thank yous on my page. I had people giving me nourishment, giving me water. So I just feel like it just was a different energy. I can't pinpoint exactly what it was, but I definitely felt it. I think the group felt it as a collaborative, and it's something that I want to continue because that is what our sport needs. It's not enough of us for us to have our own little sections. We're not there yet.
I
We
agree.
need to move as a collective to get this thing going.
I agree, T. And I think something that I've worked hard with is when you drive the number up, you drive the standard up, you
Yeah.
drive the mental toughness of the athlete. And what I've seen changed is I've seen women come and go, and the ones that leave do not have it mentally.
No.
They don't, because that's a whole different animal to curling. There is nothing on earth that can prepare you for the Arnold. And this year we peaked once again and hit it just right. I think the biggest change, TFAB, is the mental toughness of these women.
I
I
agree.
think we started out with a group that were some pretty good athletes that can move some weight, but I'm just going to say it. They didn't know how to act there. They did not
No.
know how to act in that environment, and it affected other lifters. So I think what has cleaned up year in and year out, as you raise the standard, you raise the quality of athlete, you raise the amount of respect people have for each other. I think that's what was shown this year. If you were there this year, you deserve to be there. The qualifying number's only going to go up. You're only going to see 100-pound plus curlers on the stage next year for women. You are not going to see anybody that cannot curl 100 pounds. That's what Strict Curl Nation has evolved to. That's what the women have spoken on. That's what they've delivered on. And that's what people want to see. It's the Arnold
And
Classic. They want
that's
to
a
see.
good point because I say this in bodybuilding a lot. There's a difference between a competitor and an athlete. There's a difference between a hobbyist and an athlete, right? When we first started doing this thing, I think because it was so new, there was a lot of competitors, right? A lot of hobbyists, a lot of try it out and see how I do. But I think now the people that are still sticking around, that understands the carpal tunnel, that understands the sprains and the splints, those are the athletes, right? An athlete is prepared to take a loss. An athlete is prepared to be defeated and have to figure it out and come back and try again, right? An athlete is not going to find an excuse or find a reason to tear somebody down because they outperformed you. That's not an athlete. A competitor will, and a hobbyist will. But a true athlete will take that win or that loss and not be satisfied, go back and sharpen their sword and come back and fight again. That's a true athlete. And I feel like that was the difference. This year you had more athletes.
Yes.
And so athletes understand each other. We speak the same language. We know that there can only be one winner. There's not participation prizes and trophies and it's Wilkes and it's this and that. And that's how it works. That is an athlete.
And an athlete shows up
Yeah.
year in and year out. They show up. They don't show up when they're doing good. They don't show
Yeah.
up because Teefab's sick. They don't show up because, oh, I heard Cooper's not coming. I can't tell
Right.
people in strict curl when we started out would not show up unless I posted a roster. And I'm the first person that I know out of a federation that refuses to post the roster because every time we did, people drop out. And the answer I would get from other guys is, well, screw it. They paid anyways. That's not what I'm trying to build. I'm not
Right.
trying to build that. I'm trying to build the best. And this was the first year that I felt we entered the athlete side of it. I really did. I think you summed it up. That was so cool the way that you said that. I was even watching some of the comments as you were saying that, and everybody was like, agree, well said, so much truth to that. And it took so much out of everybody
Right.
to get it to where it is. And that's why it's starting to turn into something so, so special. Um, we worked so hard to make that event go off, and we got so much compliment and praise, and that's great. I'm going in a different place with this.
Mhm.
Me and Nikki, we look at it, that's what we're supposed to do, right?
Right.
If we're going to honor these elite athletes, that's the type of meet you're supposed to put on. It's not supposed to be any other way. So I'm not saying that all our hard work, yeah, it paid off and it shouldn't be recognized. It was. The comments were enough, and it feels so good as you're driving home exhausted and beat up, and your equipment got beat up and you're struggling to make a buck. All those things go away, right, when you do things the right way. And
Right.
thank you to everybody for the compliments, because you gave us a great one. But in a way, that's how it's supposed to kind of go down, right? If we're going to really make this sport special, that should be automatic. That should be the standard. Easier said than done. Expos are a different style. You got 250,000 people walking around. No one's there to really help you. But all that being said, I thought it was one of Strict Curl Nation's and CT Fletcher's best showings. I
It was
think
good.
I do. I think some things happened with CT and you guys that, again, I'll go back to this. You were more, and we were more concerned about him as a human being and a
Yeah.
person than getting an autograph. Like, and
Yeah.
and see everybody in our camp rally and look out for him. It makes me say that, you are family to him. You're beyond a fan. You're beyond one of his athletes. You guys, a lot of you truly became family with him, and the feel of him being there is just getting so comfortable. It's getting so comfortable, and I love it, and I love that part of it. We have all been through ups and downs in strict curl.
Yeah.
We've been to amazing meets. We've been to failures. We've watched people come and go. We grabbed onto something this go around. We grabbed onto something special, and I feel it, and you feel it, and a lot of people feel it. The amount of views, 500,000 people hitting up Strict Curl Nation in 3 days is absolutely crazy. Tfab, I don't know the whole Instagram world. I'm getting new to it, but we had 2,000 people watch this live. We had 2,000 people watch the Queen of Curls on that stage, with another, I'm going to estimate 4,000 in the audience, 5,000 when we're giving out awards. I mean, we're doing it and we're building it and we're bringing people together. And at the same time, the competition is getting better and better and better and better.
Agreed.
It's a really cool thing to be part of. I will go on record to say, in my opinion, as a coach, and this is just me, right? That was one of your best performances, because it would have been so easy to not show up. It would have been so.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I definitely agree. I talked to my team about it. I, was in communication with my team. I coach about 20 athletes. And I was talking to them about the importance of just leading by example. Like, they were another reason that I showed up. I mean, 2 days out, 3 days out, I had to cancel all of my sessions so I can rest. And I didn't have any pushback. I mean, it's a big deal when you know how it is when you coach. When you don't show up, it's like your whole world. But everybody was like, "No, coach, rest up. We know this is important to you." So it was like I had to show up so I could show my team what an athlete does, right? I wasn't there to ego lift, right? I knew I was not going to do well. I knew it was going to be one of my poorest performances if I even had a performance. But an athlete shows up. An athlete gives it what they have. I trained for the meet. I said, if God allows me to get there, and if I can get to this way in, I'm going to give it my 100%. And then I did. And I'm glad I did. And I feel like it was my best performance, because I actually was able to come out of a competitor, athlete, warrior mode and be more of a support my sister mode. And I enjoyed that aspect, because everybody knows when I compete, I cheer people on, but my brain is on what I need to do. I'm an athlete and a coach, so I'm dual brained already. But I was actually able to really, really lock in to see what my sisters and I were doing and putting on the bar, and take in what all the audience was getting to see, and, just being an example of when it's not my day, when it's not my best, when the light is not on me, how do I present myself for the world? How do I present myself for my other athletes, for my team, for my family? And I was just very proud that I was able to not get in my feelings about my body not cooperating, but come and support the other ladies and support them in their moment. And they had some wonderful moments.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I think that's an end point right there. An end point right there. Now, I did warn the other ladies. They said, "Geez, coach, we saw a side of TFAB we've never seen." I said, "Well, enjoy it,
Yeah,
but be
you're
ready.
not going to see them a
Be
lot.
ready
So look, it's
for
fine.
2026." I
Christmas
told
came early, ladies.
you know, to
You're
the
not
point
going to
where
see it anymore.
I knew how out of it you were, because at one point I heard you say, this is it for me. After this, I'm done. I don't know if I'm gonna curl again. I'm like, Cooper, go check her out right now. That girl is gonna drop in front of us, man. She is not right.
Listen, at my big age, I'm mature out here. I'm not a young lifter. I'm not even a submaster anymore. So, and I'm coming up on a birthday. I've been leading the charge for the ladies, and I'm proud to say that, for a long time. And so, like I said, I'm tired. I'm glad to see some other ladies pick it up and do some amazing things, because I can sit down every now and then instead of having to come to everything. I literally go across the country, and next year out of the country, trying to advance this sport. So I was happy to be able to see some other ladies. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but in order to advance the sport, it has to be impressive. It has to be some impressive lifting. It just is. And so I was glad to see ladies put up impressive numbers, to the point where people can say, "Oh, how does she do that?" Because that is what's going to attract people to our sport. And that's what I meant by your competitor and athlete. It's not going to be just your average, "Oh, I every now and then pick up the bar and I signed up for this." That's not going to do it. It has to be where all those people watch those videos and say, "How does she do that?" That is what's going to grow our sport. And I was glad that these ladies had some "how did she do that" moments, and it wasn't me having to provide the moment. Because I'm tired.
I had fun. fun with you tonight. I'm excited. It was an unbelievable event. Um, I'm going to be posting all the rules and regs for the Arnold towards the end of the month. I'm going to be posting how we're going to be qualifying and running that meet. I would love to have you back on after we do that and do a part two.
Sure.
Um, and and thank you for sharing a side with us that we don't get to see that much. There's no doubt you know how to win, and you know how to win with class. So
And I
thank you.
appreciate it. And ladies, enjoy your gift. That's all. I'm not giving out nothing else. Okay, ladies? Knuckle up.
You have a good week, all right? And we'll
All
talk
right,
soon.
you too. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye bye.
All right.